Folks, welcome back. Yeah, I know. You ready for this? Hasbro? So, if you haven't heard, Bank of America and their almighty financial analysts on Wall Street, Main Street, some street, red light district, had something positive to say about Hasbro, ladies and gentlemen. So, Hasbro's set to report their earnings this Thursday. Hopefully, you're watching this video like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before Thursday. And Bank of America, for the first time, they were even discussing this on CNBC, that they upgraded Hasbro stock to a buy, outperform, overperform. Historically, financial analysts will usually there's usually three ratings: buy, hold, or sell. And historically, there's a lot of interpretations on depending what firm and what analyst and what company and how they interpret those ratings. There's buy, hold, sell. There's outperform, kind of market perform, underperform. There's kind of they have a lot of terminology with that. Usually, just to kind of put it in layman's terms, if they feel the company is going to perform with the overall market, they'll have like a neutral rating or a hold or a market perform. There's all these lingo for it. It's fun to research this stuff. If they feel that this company is really undervalued and there's a lot of potential opportunity on Wall Street, they'll usually say like market outperform or buy or strong buy. They'll usually use some terminology like that. Usually that means that like if they expect the S&P 500 over the next 12 months to do 10%, the analyst believes that this stock will perform more than the S&P, outperform or strong buy. And underperform obviously means the opposite of that. But what's interesting about this is, obviously Bank of America last year in the bear market of 2022 summer, in the crash of the Hasbro stock and all the magic sets last year and overprinting and all this crap that just went to hell, Bank of America was the most vocal. They were the most outspoken with how Hasbro was, milking their golden goose, causing damage, ruining the brand, destroying consumer credibility and consumer confidence, and consumers were backing away from Magic sealed product and buying their products. They were the ones that were really sounding the alarm. And they were the first ones to really come out and say, hey, this Hasbro company is milking the shit out of Wizards of the Coast and Magic. I mean, there's a real chance that they just burned this thing to the ground. And they were really concerned, and the stock had collapsed and it was all over the place. I made a bunch of videos because, again, we were all hoping that if we shook the nest enough that it would reach the top of these morons. I know Cynthia Williams too busy selling Philip Morris cigarettes behind the schoolyard. I know Chris Cox just wants to make sure you guys know who he is. And again, is Wikipedia still up, or is Wikipedia still updating? Wikipedia is still working. And I understand, so we were all hoping that by shaking the hornet's nest enough, that it would cause them to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't fuck this up, and maybe we should do some, pay attention, or really, steer, straighten the course, and get back on track instead of just, Costa Concordiaing this shit right into the iceberg. Wait, Costa Concordia, they didn't hit an iceberg. Costa Concordia just ran on land. Wasn't that the Carnival ship that? Wait, that was the one where the captain was in the bar hitting on chicks, and the ship just ran up on like an island or rocks. Anyways, so for the first time, and after over a year, I guess, since the summer last year, we have positive news, and even Bank of America saying, look, based on what they saw and what the market happened with like Lord of the Rings, it was a shocking surprise to Bank of America, and honestly, all of us. I mean, I was surprised. I'm the one, people call me, I'm 2023 Rudy the anti-hype man. And did the magic card just fall on my back? I feel like a box of cards just hit me. And, for the first time ever, people were just surprised at the strength of, the market of Magic and the new release products. And, I guess that flowed all the way to the point of Main Street that hit Wall Street, that hit the analysts. It just kind of went all the way up that chain of command. And, they're pretty positive all of a sudden. So now we want to see what happens in the next 48, 72 hours if Hasbro's earnings reflect this. See, in my personal opinion, and again, you're talking to a guy who hoards cardboard for a living, smells like tacos, and eats waffle fries. But I believe a lot of these problems have never been about Wizards of the Coast or Magic cards themselves. I've always believed now for the last couple of years that the pressure from Hasbro, and it's not really, like Wizards of the Coast is the best thing that ever happened to Hasbro. There's no argument. Everybody knows that. There is no one saying that wasn't the best move Hasbro ever made in the company's career or existence ever. The problem is Hasbro just makes a lot of other bad choices. between like their movie department, the rights, the partnerships, these other divisions that they buy into, and they all just fuck everything up. It's like they just spin a wheel in South Park and they're like, yep, fuck it. What are we buying today? Bzzz! Taco stand. Let's buy tacos. Like, they just do some really dumb shit. Well, obviously, that's probably why the most successful part of Hasbro was Wizards. Chris Cox was, Dr. Cox was the CEO of Wizards, so they pulled him up to be obviously running Hasbro because, well, that was the only division of Hasbro being ran properly. So, the question now remains is on Thursday, when Hasbro reports earnings, is it going to actually be positive? Is it already kind of baked into the price of the stock? Because remember, Hasbro stock hit a low of like 46, 47 range, okay? 6 months ago when the market was a low. Hasbro stock went from the mid 40s, like it's like 65 now. Maybe, or I don't know, was the market up or down? Maybe 64. Like, this thing is moved from the 40s to the 60s. That's a really big move for a company that's $5-10 billion in market cap. So to move from the 40s, it's like a 40% price swing up in like 6 months. That's a massive swing. And a lot of people believe that if, Wizards doesn't make a pack of cards $1 million and they don't burn it to the ground with Magic 30th with other stupid shit, a lot of people believe that, this stock can be significantly undervalued. Therefore, that's why I think Bank of America is kind of trying to be kind of, a little positive, a little optimistic. I don't really have an opinion this time. I'm still kind of skeptical of the whole thing. We'll see what happens. Obviously, full disclosure for y'all, I own I own just under 10,000 shares of Hasbro. I've owned the same amount of shares for years now. So I am a pretty large shareholder in it. Been collecting those giant dividends for a long time. I think now, actually, back in the 60s, I think I'm no longer losing money. I think I've actually been above breaking even because that dividend is so massive over years of dividends. Probably not very much, nowhere near the market. I just should put in the S&P. But anyways, I still remain very skeptical. I'm happy to see some positivity from Hasbro and Wizards and Magic. At the end of the day, the facts remain. Most of you all love Magic. I love Magic. We all love the game. We love the brand. It's, it can be a toxic relationship because we feel many times that our partner in crime here, our partner, Wizards of the Coast, who makes Magic, just really, I don't want to say like abuses the customer base or like treats them. It feels very disingenuine, disrespectful, kind of middle fingerish. It feels dirty, because it's like, when I see some of the prices and the continuing thing, like the amount of things that would not be a problem right now, and I'll say it. Last year, Baldur's Gate, jacking the price at the stores and charging us $230 for a collector box. So we have to sell to like a customer for like $260 to like break even or make $5. Like, that price was too high. If that was a normal collector box price, like the same as like Throne of Eldraine 3 years ago, and that collector box was still like $165 or $170, like it wouldn't have been a disaster. Because that collector box, albeit weak, if stores are paying 160s and selling for 180s, 190s, the market would have been more in equilibrium and more in line with what it should have been priced at versus double that, which then the market collapses on itself and goes down to what the price should have been. It kind of goes back. The market will always find the correct price in a long enough time frame. It is what it is. And if it doesn't, Hasbro and all their almighty dumbasses self will phone call into Wizards, and Cynthia will call Philip Morris. They'll have a smoking weekend. They'll call Amazon, and they'll dump everything on Amazon. And therefore, not allowing anyone access to the product except the retail consumer can buy like 3 boxes, and they cap it all. And then it just literally just labels the product as a loser, and it just collapses the whole product line. So, hey, maybe that just makes me angry for being bitter, right? Heavy bags, Rudy! And, it's been a really weird time in Magic. So before I end this video today, we're in a very purgatory type state. Because the blunt reality is, most of the market hype, even though new Pokemon sets are weak, most of the market hype remains in Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, and, Sorcery coming up in the next 60 days. Their main launch around the world, their beta launch. That is where most of the excitement. Don't get me wrong, the Magic hype and excitement is still there. People are, still love Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of controversy on the Commander Masters, but overall, early data, I mean, the collector boxes are stable in like the 190s, the 200 range. The set boxes, to my surprise, are holding up better than I thought they would online. And actually, I've seen other people open Commander Master set boxes, and the amount of pulls and hits you get in those things is way higher than I expected. And I still think $3-4 for set box is crazy, but I understand there's quite a bit of hits and value in the secondary market on those products. So I see the perspective on why Wizards chose to jack the price to that level because of the amount of pulls in Commander Masters. Still kind of feels dirty, but... And then, of course, we look at post-Magic 30. The vintage Magic world, the secondary market remains very bruised and damaged. A lot of the low-end reserve list cards were annihilated. A lot of mid-tier reserve list cards, still 20, 30, 40% retracements. A lot of beta cards got clobbered. A lot of premium graded cards in the old world of Magic. I mean, they're down 30, 40, 50% from their highs. I think Alpha held up the best, maybe only down 20, 30% from their highs. I mean, I know many of you are going to say, well, Rudy, the shit went up 300-400%. So what? It went up 400%. It lost a chunk of that. Who cares? It's still up a lot. And that is a valid assumption. So, conclusion, where do we go from here? I'm very curious to see if any information comes out on the conference call with Hasbro on Thursday regarding details of Wizards, their inventory glut and inventory problem. Are they finally recalibrating their print runs? Are they learning that they don't need to overprint shit and then 6-12 months later just dump it on Amazon a fire sale and just destroy that consumer confidence? Like, I don't understand why they continue to do that. They are better off destroying the product and taking the tax write-off for the corporation. And if they're paying taxes, it should be 39%, 40% corporate tax. I mean, they're better off taking the tax write-off and letting the market be more stable so that more people will buy their products as they make new products in the future. Like, they need to plan and prospect and allow the market to be stable if they want future earnings to continue to be positive and have double-digit growth or whatever metrics you want to use on Wall Street. Oh, player base, gross sales, their margins from gross to net, the EBITDA. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, if you want people to spend, they need to feel confident in the product. And right now, the number one product, or the number one problem with Hasbro, and all the way to Wizards of the Coast, to Magic the Gathering, is the same thing I get hundreds of messages on every month. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, if you include public comments, not including Patreon. But the hundreds to thousands of comments are the same. Rudy, thank you for reporting the positive and negative, which, hey, we got positive this time. It's not negative this time. Positive news with Bank American Hasbro. But at the end of the day, people, like, it was crazy. Like, watching the patrons, when I sold probably 2 to 3% of the print run of Commander Masters collector boxes, okay? Around 10,000 boxes, okay? Well, I sold about 9,600. I kept a pallet. So, I'm greedy. I kept one for myself. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird one. I feel like there's going to be some surprises on this Commander Masters. So, in the most I had two types of average orders, okay? Most patrons bought 1 or 2 boxes, or they bought a fucking ton from me because they just wanted to get stupid pricing because I sold them collector boxes for like what I say? Like, some patrons bought big orders for like $166 a box shipped, like way below market. So if you bought like 24, 48 boxes from me, you essentially probably bought like 44 or 45 boxes and then got like 5 boxes of collectors for free because of the discount. But the split of people who they wanted to like the product, but people like, Rudy, I'm still going to support you. I like your videos. You tell it to me straight, even if I don't agree with you and you irritate the hell out of me. I know your wife's boyfriend gets pissed on Taco Tuesdays, but they tell me the same thing. They go, Rudy, I want to love the product, but I have such a conflicting relationship with the direction of Hasbro Wizards in the reprint everything till it's destroyed. And of course, people point out Secret Lairs. They point out, apparently, Doubling Season, which was printed in Commander Masters, is now being reprinted in like 45 days in the new Wilds Veldrain. Like, what kind of fucking idiot designs a reprint and then reprints it twice right next to each other? Out of the tens of thousands of cards in the card database, like, is it intentional? Are there so many little bubbles of people at the company they don't communicate because it is just bad communication? Or do they simply not give a fuck? But the problem is, no matter which one of those answers is the real answer, they're all bad. It's kind of one of those things. Okay, do I eat so many tacos until I get sick? Well, that doesn't sound good. Okay. Or do I never eat tacos again? Well, shit, that sounds terrible. Like, no matter which way turns out to be true, you're gonna lose. And right now, that's what people are saying to me. People like are buying, they're supporting me and the channel. I'm grateful for you all. I'm eternally grateful. I brag about my channel and my patrons to everyone in real life. And, you know, I just, all we can do is hope that everything that happened the last 12 months, we will start to see a corner or some sort of pivot. I'm not asking for a 90-degree right angle turn, but a pivot. Some sort of adjustment where this company reduces print runs, stabilizes the market. Like, they have to realize with their they've been saying, we at Hasbro, they said it on their fucking conference call, we have inventory gluts and inventory problems. That's why they're being forced to do Amazon dumps. And it's like, if you know that's an issue, storage costs, holding costs, well, fuck it, we better dump it and just destroy the product and piss everybody off anyways. Like, adjust it. Make the pivot, the changes. Correctly print to more accurately what the market is. You know? It's just, it's crazy. It's just like, based on what you've seen happen, you are, by doing what you're doing, if you never adjust print runs in pivot, essentially the people who were spending, the whales, the collectors, the amount of LGSs that would order extra inventory and sit on the inventory to have old product to offer their customers or anything, they stopped doing that. And when they stop doing that, 2022 happens. Because even in the downturn, everybody starts saying, you know what? I think I'm going to buy Pokemon. You know what? I'm going to buy Flesh and Blood. I'm going to buy this new Disney Lorcana. I'm going to buy One Piece. You know what? I'm all in on sorcery, the way what magic should be. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot. And you start to see that. And then you got a real fucking problem. Because now your downturn, that momentum downshift, goes from a little curve and then you accelerate into what they call on Wallstreet like the waterfall or the gap down giggity. Because then it literally scares more people from saying, whoa. It's like, you know, I had, here's a good one to you. I'm going to end this video, sorry. I had, was it a distributor or a store? I think it was a large store. A large store in the U.S. a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. God, time, are we in August now? Might be in August. So 2 weeks ago, contacted me. Said, Rudy, we got two, three, how many boxes? 600 a pallet. 3 pallets of double feature Innistrad Midnight Hunt Crimson Val. Remember that? WPN exclusive? 3 pallets, almost 2,000 boxes. And they said, look, I know you don't have this product because you're not WPN. You don't own any stores that have WPN access. Your offices, your warehouses, you don't do WPN tournaments. You don't report to Wizards. That's correct. I don't. And they said, well, Rudy, I know you don't have this product. Double feature, Midnight Hunt Crimson Val. I said, what about it? He said, we got almost 2,000 boxes. The store cost was around 140s. I'll give them to you for 120 bucks a box, and I'll ship the pallets to you, no cost. I said, do you want to sell me 2,000 boxes, or like 1,900 and change, of double feature for 120, 12 to 14% below wholesale cost on a product that's already out of print in over a year, almost 2 years old? And at any other time in history, and I may regret this moment, I may regret this, in any other time in history, I wouldn't have even checked to make sure I had both my balls. I would have literally bought that and taken that deal so quick, my balls, my left nut would still be at Chick-fil-A eating waffle fries. No joke. No joke. I'm not, is this a face that's laughing? And I turned that down. And I never usually do stuff like that. It's like, wait till you guys see this video about me dumping literally $500,000 to $1 million and buying all the Pokemon now, booster boxes, because everyone's so negative on the new Pokemon set. And I've been through so many Pokemon blocks and arrows over the last 8-9 years. Bro, I ain't fucking this one up. And I'm looking at this and I go, well, with Magic, because of the behavioral shift that Hasbro and Wizards has caused, even I, at a major discount below market, I could have literally bought almost 2,000 boxes. I could have ran a patron sale and sold those boxes for $129, $139 to patrons, and sold 1,000 of them and kept 1,000, and made $3 a box, and help recoup the cost of some of the others, and I'd keep some. But in this situation, I didn't even feel comfortable taking that product, and I didn't feel comfortable trying to sell that product to patrons. If I don't believe in the product, no matter how much internet wants to meme on me with MetaZoo, Weiss, Pokemon, Magic, Flesh and Blood, no matter what the internet wants to laugh at in jokes or memes, if I don't think the product is worth it, I'm not going to carry the product. All jokes aside, it is really that simple. If I'm not comfortable sitting on the product, because if I buy a pallet of MetaZoo, or Pokemon, or Flesh and Blood, and I'm like, should I sell this to patrons? Before I buy that pallet, I ask myself, am I okay sitting on the product if none of it sells? That's always the golden Rudy rule that I ask myself. So that's it, folks. That's my attitude. I'm very curious to see what Hasbro has to say on Thursday. Not more so their earnings. I don't really care about the earnings and profit. We'll follow up, though. I'm more curious about the conference call and more of like what their perspective is, their mindset at Hasbro. I'm sure we'll be disappointed because that's what they do for a living, is they like to let us all into a room and just literally take a giant fish, take the tail, and they slap all of us across the face while Chuck Norris just sits and laughs. That's what these companies do. That's what they do. And they are cold as ice, and they don't give two flying fucks about me or you. But I just hope one day, when we shake enough of the hornet's nest last year, that we would start seeing changes. For the sake of my sanity, for the sake of my customers, my supporters, patrons, viewers like you, if Magic fails at some point in our life, we all lose. I'll be a textbook case study of how diversification can go wrong if you put all your money in cards. People will be talking about the boom and bust of Alpha Investments. This guy, Rudy, who made tens of millions and lost it all. Damn, that'd be a good documentary. Netflix, contact me. OnlyFans? Bathwater. Nah, thanks for watching, folks. Have a beautiful day. Remember, try not to let the negativity kind of ruin your life. A lot of beautiful things out there. Most people are good. Most stores are good. Most people are not trying to hose you, although they're always at 1%. You got to look out for them. But overall, it is a beautiful world. Surround yourself with people that are smarter and better than you. They'll help push you in the right direction. As always, here's my penis. Have a beautiful day, everybody.